again, I'm Dan Hubling, President of the Neighborhood Association. Sorry about the late start. But on the positive side, finally, after 3 months, this is not going to be a marathon session. So.
Hey, but there is a zoning.
All right, first up, just reiterate, everybody signed in, everybody got an agenda, everybody's read over the minutes from last time? Sure, yeah. All right, session. First thing we need to do is to adopt the agenda. Are there any last minute changes or additions we need to the agenda? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? So moved. Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, so a show of hands on accepting the agenda as it stands. Adopted. And the minutes from last time. Pretty good reading. Everybody been over that? Good stuff. Have a motion on accepting the minutes from last time.
Motion to accept.
Second? Second. Have a show of hands on accepting the minutes. So passed. Okay. Now get to me. Any newcomers? Any first timers? Nobody? Really? Come on, somebody's been shy. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate it. Where do you live in the neighborhood? Anything particular that caused you to come tonight? Any particular topic or anything?
Well, on my street, for years, everyone lives and it hasn't been good. And then across the street for me, on the middle part, it's been sunk in and it's sunk in twice and they couldn't fix it twice.
You said Capitol, right? Yeah, Capitol's pretty bad. I will say that it is in the plans to redo Capitol within the next couple of years. So it's not yet, but it's coming. It's coming. Okay. No safe officer tonight. He's on vacation. So go right to announcements. Something you want to talk about?
So, about 5 years ago, a lot of neighborhoods, including Beacon Hill, came together because we were tired of fighting every individual zoning case and doing it all by ourselves. And we realized that we needed to work on a higher level. So what started out as 5 neighborhoods is now 50-something neighborhoods and partnerships with neighborhoods outside of 410. And really it comes down, and it's not top down, it's just a horizontal coalition. And it comes down to that neighborhoods, people who live in neighborhoods should have a right to have an informed voice about the issues that affect their community and their neighborhoods. It's as simple as that. We should be part of that decision-making process. But mostly we educate each other, we advocate with each other, and we support one another. And we advocate for good policies that help us meet the challenges of the future. I mean, no one is about, well, nothing can change. I mean, this is about thoughtful and complex issues of the future, but how do we preserve our communities? How do we make sure people aren't displaced? How do we make sure the development is compatible? So anyway, and Kosum and I are actually sit on that steering committee. So the 16th at City Council Chamber, well, it's not going to be City Council Chamber, it's Citizens to be Heard. Now it's like 40 neighborhoods are going to show up with their signs, and ours will say Beacon Hill, so I hope you can join us. It has been a nightmare to organize, not because getting 60 neighborhoods to do this has been hard. What's been hard is the city. The first time we scheduled it, well, they weren't going to be there that day. The second time, it's like, well, we're not going to be at City Council, we're going to be somewhere else. It was impossible to find the information. If you didn't have to be called, they gave us the wrong information. If you have a computer, unless you know exactly where to look, specialized websites. If you go to Citizens, we heard there's nothing about them changing. So this has been, public participation and open meetings. We've really struggled with this. But I hope you all come out and join us. It's going to be out on Eisenhower. We have our sign. I'm hoping somebody will volunteer to wear the skunk outfit because it's so cool. Now seriously, wouldn't it be great if we showed up and we had the skunk outfit on? So anyway, I hope you come and join us. These will be neighborhoods across the city. It'll be fun. It won't take very long. I'm going to make sure we're kind of early or first on the agenda. Where the whole thing will take about 15 minutes. You'll get to see people with signs. On West Side, you should see their signs. Like, damn, they got some they raised the bar. Ours are, you know, little homemade ones, but they put sparkly stuff. It was cool. So please come back. Eisenhower Road. It's on the agenda.
I missed it, I'm sorry. So your main message by having the neighborhoods show up?
So we're there to welcome them. I mean, you know, the stated purpose is we're here to welcome the council people to the new council year. The subtext is we're your constituents, we're the people who vote, and we're educating each other about the issues, and we're willing to work for the future. You should be listening to, we should be part of that decision-making process. We don't need people coming and making decisions for us. We need to be making those decisions.
Next announcement is movie nights. Beacon Hill's going to have its first neighborhood movie nights on October 26th in the Linear Park at the intersection of Michigan and Ellesmere, just right across from where the basketball court is. Showtime should be about 7:30 when the sunset is this time of year. I don't know. Probably
What's the movie?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's
Coco.
Coco.
Are you really?
So good.
Seriously? Oh, okay. There it is. It's Coco.
I don't think it's what the movie is.
It is.
Come out and see it.
Fabulous.
It's a good movie. Very good. Okay.
Let's see.
I thought you did.
Side note, fundraising thing, neighborhood has these for sale to make a little more money for the association. So if anyone's interested in one of these, they're $50 a piece. So enough of them, we can cover the cost of the porta potty that's going to be at movie nights. Everybody wants to go to them. $15. One five.
It's worth the money.
Good cause. Are there any committee chairs who want to address the assembly tonight? Do you have anything, Mrs. Owen? I think Mrs. Owen wants to talk.
Oh, okay, no, I thought you were pointing at Mark. Go ahead, Lucy.
We've been working very hard to bring the community and the children together. And on October the 1st, we had a good, wonderful meeting for the National Night Out. We gave out over 70 bags, backpacks of school supplies. So what we do, we expect each one of us as part of the community of Beacon Hill to say, what can I do? How can we help you? And this is the only way we are going to be successful. Now, I'm bringing it real quick. The report, November 28th is Thanksgiving, and 22nd will be the last day of school. So right now, I'm getting ready to go to Beacon Hill Academy and get 3 parents so we can supply the complete Thanksgiving for them. And then I'm gonna go, it's a lot of driving, but that's okay. I love children, that's why I'm still here. And then I'm gonna go to Catholic Academy and get 3 parents and do the same for them. Give them turkey and the whole team. So we trust and hope that each one of you will say, how can I give you? Can I give you some sweet potato, something that will go with the Thanksgiving? Everything is donated. Last year, we had the privilege from Richard Peacock. He gave me 7 turkeys, 28 pounds each turkey. And it was a donation. And for that, we need to support, this is a free commercial, but we need to support the business people, because otherwise we're not going anywhere. And hopefully we, by the 25th, we will be able to deliver all these turkeys and all the good stuff for families. Children need us. We need to reach out to the children and their community. And I thank you for giving me time to bring this issue.
So I'm Cosima, and I I'm currently serving on the board, but since we're doing elections tonight, I will be replaced. Yay. And that's going to give me a little bit more time to work with Mark and co-chair the Zoning and Urban Design Committee. Mark's been trying to do most of it on his own for the last many months, and there's a lot going on. Y'all know it. You drive through the streets, you see new houses being worked on, being turned over, and when the property owner or the investor or whoever's bought that home pays attention to the NCD standards, pulls permits, it's all good. It's all good. But oftentimes they request a permit or pull a permit, and what they say they're going to do is different than what they end up doing. Sometimes they don't pull permits. So we need help from the community. Let us know if you see a yellow zoning sign go up on your block. Make sure that we're aware of that. If you see somebody doing work on a house and it doesn't look, they're taking out windows and putting ones back that are different size, let us know. If they're not putting on a porch, those are all things that are required in our design standard. And the sooner we can make development services aware of the violations, the easier it is for them to get those rectified. We have several right now where they put windows in the front and they don't have the sash, and that's not allowed in our design standards when they're facing the street. And that was brought to my attention, that's on Rosewood, that was brought to my attention by a neighbor. Otherwise, I don't know who would have caught it. So anyway, we could use some folks to help us out. You don't necessarily have to be an expert in zoning. What I think we're going to look for is to be able to give a person a case, and you have contact numbers and you kind of follow it up, and that way we have our handle on 5 or 6 things at once instead of Mark and I kind of doing this and one of those things. So if anybody's interested, we meet the 3rd Monday at 900 West Woodlawn. At 7 o'clock, we'd love to have you.
I'm Kim Public, and I'm with a bunch of things, but I'm going to talk about Heart of the Neighborhood Committee, which is like the event planning. And so I wanted to tell you that we had a really great national night out this year. We had a good turnout. It was on the front lawn of Cotton Academy. The school really appreciates us doing it there. Mrs. Zeller, as she said, handed out 70 backpacks. We cooked hot dogs. I think we gave out 250 hot dogs. It's a really good event. It is all about community safety, and sometimes we forget that and focus on the party. But knowing your neighbors is a really important part of community safety. It's also a good opportunity to talk to your elected officials. We had Councilman Trevino, Diego Cano was there. Folks from Senator Menendez's office were there. We had Sheriff Salazar was there, Tommy Calvert. So, you know, make a point of coming to this in the future if you weren't able to make it this year. It's a good time, you know, besides talking with elected officials.
Well, there was the skunk.
And there was this was the year that we debuted. I don't know if you saw any pictures, but a neighbor texted me and said, "Hey, I found a skunk costume at Boysville Thrift for $7." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny." And Jen was like, "Buy it." So Mike DeFries from the Park Community Church, God bless him, wore that skunk outfit in 100-degree weather.
Because that's our mascot.
About 2 hours. So, well, he had that pilates. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Anyway, I just want to let y'all know that we had a successful event.
That's all the community chairs that are here. I'm going to slip something in real quick. It's talked about in the newsletter, but I just want to stress and bring your attention to it in case you missed it. Block parties. Block parties. Everybody's going to do this season. That's the thing. Get in it. It's your chance. Get a block out. Get a party going. More seriously, read the article. They're a useful tool. Getting to know your neighbors, it will help with crime reduction. It will help with mobilizing that. You know, do we need sidewalks on our streets fixed? Do we need, you know, what does our particular block need? And if you get together and know your neighbors, then it's got an easier chance of getting those things resolved. Hey, it's election time. Still, so this is slate, imagine that right here it says Justin Nichols. That's the third candidate for director. Are there any last nominees? Anybody want to throw their hat in the ring? It is not too late. No? Okay. So then this stands as our slate. And since there are no contested seats, I think we're allowed to take a shortcut instead of like going a whole write it all out thing. We can, as a body, adopt this as it stands. We have a movement to accept the slate as it stands with adding the name Justin Nichols at the bottom.
I move to,
Move. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to elect this slate for the coming year as the board. Question?
I was gonna say they didn't have a chance to speak, but since we're gonna usher them right in, they can speak afterwards.
Oh, you're right, I meant to do that, but I'm so excited about getting licensed. So, moved and seconded. Can I see a show of hands about electing these officials? Any opposed? Okay, motion's passed. And now that you voted them in, now you can meet them. So, I'm not going to put you all too much on the spot. I would hate to be asked to stand up and give my life story, but just so people know who you are, I'll start with myself. Daniel Hovling, been in the neighborhood for 12 years. This will be my second year as president, and then I'm getting ready for a break. So, because I'm way too involved in this right now.
All of us.
Nicole, do you stand up and just introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Miles. I've been in the neighborhood for roughly 4 years. I'm a renter. I am 29 and I'm very excited to be your new vice president. I just wanted to say that my main purpose and motivation for this is that I believe that neighbors are one of the most important relationships you can have with people. And you think about it, whether it's your childhood, when you're going to college, or as a young adult and then growing up with a family, these are people that you can trust, that can help you. My neighbor changed my tire the other week because I needed help. So I just really want to encourage that for everyone to meet your neighbors and really just learn to love each other.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Valle, and I've lived in the neighborhood, technically Beacon Hill, probably going on 3 years, but I've lived in all the surrounding areas off and on for about 15 years, so I love this neighborhood, love this side of town. I've really enjoyed being a member of the board, and I'm excited about being secretary, so if anyone ever has any questions or just want to reach out to me, feel free to do that. So, thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Diana Flores, and I've been in the neighborhood almost 2 years, but I actually grew up right down the street in Los Angeles Heights, off of Blanco, Bassy up here. And I have a accounting degree, CPA background, so I thought I might as well use those talents to help the neighborhood out. So glad to be elected and almost to do a good job.
Hello, I'm Michael Clancy. Me and my wife have been in the neighborhood for about 4 years. My daughter has been here for 2 years, and I'm a designer at Alamo Architects. I've done a lot of work with neighborhoods in and around San Antonio, but I'm excited to get involved here in Beacon Hill.
Jordan is currently on the board, has been a director for the last year, we'll be continuing over, and Justin.
All right, I'm the mystery one. Hey everyone, I'm Justin Nichols. I'm relatively new to the neighborhood, but I've lived in District 1 or in this area, I think someone said Los Angeles Heights, for the last 10 years, so I'm excited to be here. The state of Texas and its infinite wisdom decided to give me a law license about 7 years ago, so until they figure out the mistake, I'm going to ride that way. But assuming they figure it out any day now, I'm happy to be a part of this body and be neighbors to you all, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
I've been on the board now for like 19 years on and off, mostly on. Most neighborhoods, this doesn't happen. Like that you get people who are stepping up. You've got people that are president for 10 years. And maybe the average age is 80, and it's, they're really petering out, and it's exciting to be part of a neighborhood where young people I mean anybody younger than 80, is stepping up, and new people, and being willing to be civic-minded enough and responsible enough to say, I'll step up and do my job for others. So thank you so much. I just want to say that as well.
Jordan Darwin? Pardon?
He's not here tonight.
Well,
They can do theirs first, and then I'll,
you're set up, ready to go. otherwise,
yeah, I'm hooked up. I assume it'll all go.
Just this, yes.
you got that. All right, now it's time for a zoning case before us. It's for 1004/1006 West Gramercy. It's currently a duplex. Go on, Paul. So you've got, they've probably told you this, you've got 5 minutes to talk about the presentation of the subcommittee behind it, and then we'll do some Q&A.
Okay.
Feel good.
We'll say, remember, I'm actually the general contractor for that property. I'm the lender. That property came to me as a lender first. So I do have a general contractor's license, and they hired me to do the renovation. Essentially, all we're doing with that property, you can see here, so essentially, it's currently a 2-unit. Right.
All this like.
Perfect,
Can I
perfect.
ask you your name one more time?
Jose Romero. So it's currently 1004 and 1006. It's a 2-unit duplex. Essentially, all we're doing is putting a wall in between we're not adding square footage, we're not extending or up or down, we're just putting a wall. Precisely because the family that's gonna be renting this has another family member from out of state, and they wanna be able to pay separately, have their own place, but have a member next to themselves. So we have somebody that wants to move in already, his family, both of these will be families. The second unit is staying the same. All we've done, if you've driven by there, is painted the exterior, kept the same, well, added trim, new windows. It's gonna have the same refinished flooring. It looks just like this. We're doing shiplap on the walls. We're keeping the originality of the property. We're just, essentially all we're doing is putting a wall separating the first floor. The outside, I also have this small landscaping company, so I'm actually doing some free landscape pavers and basically dry dirt.
Is that third unit already complete, or is
They're not complete. We're basically, we're waiting for, number one, your approval. That's what I came here for. Hopefully I can get your approval, number one. But it's not complete. Right now, it's just the exterior was done. The inside has sheetrock. I mean, it just needs to get finished out. But obviously, I can't finish it unless I get the approval, number one, and the city saying, hey, they say it's okay, you're okay. But I did look at the requirements for from the zoning, and I stayed at what they asked of me. That's what I did. I'm not adding square footage. I'm keeping almost everything the way it looks. If anything, the door handles are going to be from 1920 or whatever. I'm trying to keep it as original as I can. Yes, ma'am.
Is that tall building?
Yes.
That, I don't know how many stories.
It's 2 stories. We did fix the foundation. It's new plumbing. It's got everything new. New plumbing from the city, from the edge, new electrical, everything. HVAC. It's a full renovated. But from the outside, it looks just the original, piece. And there's no change to it.
Would the third apartment be upstairs?
Yes. The third apartment would be behind the first apartment. So 1004 is the original 1004. 1006 will stay the same, and the back unit will be 1004B. That's how the city wants.
But what about the upstairs? I don't understand that.
Upstairs is 1006, the way it's been for years.
So upstairs will be one single unit, and
Yeah, one
downstairs
single-
you would like to split it from 1 to 2.
That's it. And so it's 1004 is, like I said, I'm not changing the addresses. If anything, I'm just adding 1004B behind. And there's like space for 5 parking lots behind that area.
Do you have any information what that would do to the value of the property of homeowners in that area?
I mean, I'm not on my lending. So I bought the property for 180,000. Well, the guy that we funded the property for 180,000. We gave him 60,000 for repair. I'm not sure what the value would be, but I'm guessing based on the loan, 250.
No, we're talking about property values surrounding, like the neighbors, people across the street, people living, but there's an alley where that is, that needs work. And there's no road, there's nothing
Behind
there,
this property?
right behind that property.
Okay.
And what is that gonna do to the value to?
I'm getting ready.
I guess that's my question.
So Beacon Hill, obviously you guys that live here, I mean, it's, the value of the properties are just high. The Pearl, everything near the Pearl has made, you know, has given the appraised value, the after repair value. So it's not an appraised value, what buyers are looking, it's more of the after repair value. So there's a lot of properties, obviously, that have sold for 300, 400,000. And if you're asking what value, I don't know what that property alone will do, but I know that the houses that have been remodeled in that area, they are selling for quite a bit, once they're rehabbed. I mean, this property had major foundation issues, the plumbing, the water, the sewer line on the bottom, right? That thing was warped, I mean, it was major leaks, I mean, the city's trying to repair that, because that has nothing to do with the previous owner, so.
Well,
We're
okay.
fixing all that.
Because all these houses are being, you know, refurbished, being worked
Renovated.
on, is good. It's good for the area, it looks nice, but also that work has driven our tax dollars.
It definitely has.
Just up the roof,
I mean, and I, again, like I said, as a lender, general contractor, number one, I know that it's gonna give more value to the renovated, but we're not selling it. It's not gonna be a sold property. If anything, it's gonna get refinanced to, so the owner of the property is keeping it. Like Mr. Daniels, I don't know if you remember Michael Daniels? Yes, no, he's the owner of that property. He kept it from the day he bought it, he let it be, you know, that's, the owner of this property, he's not flipping it, so it's not gonna, I mean, if he were to sell it as a flip, it would probably hurt the tax dollars, but he's not, he's just refinancing out of the loan, and he's keeping it for himself. So the value, I don't see where the value is gonna increase for you guys. Yes.
What is the frontage, how many feet frontage on the property, street frontage?
The frontage, you mean the square feet?
How many feet of?
The linear feet across the front should be on the blueprints.
How wide
I
is the
can't
lot?
see that far.
If you're standing in the property looking at the street,
So it's
how
50,
wide?
it's 50 feet.
It's a 50-foot frontage?
Yes.
Okay, which is a very small lot. What are the parking,
There's enough for 5 parking spaces.
where?
Just in the back. All this is all parking space. So this is, it's 50 from the house to the edge, but it's, I think I can add it, but it's I mean, you can fit cars. When the guy bought the property, there were 6 cars parked in there, all per year.
So you show 3 cars parked in the back plus a garage. Is that a 2-car garage?
No, there's no garage here. It's just,
So that's a mistake on the plan where it says
Yeah.
garage? Okay,
well, this garage, I'm sorry, what this is
yeah.
basically an old storage.
Okay, so that's not parking. So
No.
you have 3 spaces. Can they enter through the alley or they have to come through the front? and
No,
drive
just through the
back?
front.
Okay, so having people parked in the driveway, if you have people parked in the back, is not ideal, obviously. As a landlord, I know the trouble it is with getting people to coordinate their parking, so that's what I was just asking.
Doesn't mean we can't remove this and make an entrance through the back. So that's a really good idea, because that's a small old shed. We can knock this down and make an entrance to come to here.
Have alley access.
That's a very good idea. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I think you did not come to the zoning and urban design committee to part of Beacon Hill to present your proposal here. I think you did not come to the zoning and urban design committee. This is the man who chairs it right here.
Okay.
And the idea is for you to come to the zoning and urban design or subcommittee in order to let those who are somewhat familiar with zoning and urban design, take a look at it and make their recommendations to the group here tonight. I haven't seen you at those committee meetings, I was just wondering why you did not come by to it.
So the owner's from Austin, number one. I'm just the general contractor, I'm not the owner, so I did not get any until I spoke with the city or Mr. Spielman sent me an email. So that's when I was able to, like today, I showed up because of the emails I've been getting from the permits office and from Mr. Marksville. But the owner is from Austin, so I don't know if he's come to the meetings or not, and I don't know if he has. I know what you're getting to, you're saying that before the person should have brought the property, before you should have thought, okay, can I turn this into a 3-unit, and then you go talk to this committee, but, I mean, when it was proposed to us as a sale, I mean, they're not, it didn't say that at first you have to talk to Beacon Hill to get an approval. And there's 6 plexes, 4 plexes all around there, right? So,
Let me explain something to you. Beacon Hill is not like any other neighborhood association.
right.
We care enough about our neighborhood to the point where we organize people who wish to be a part of certain aspects of its livability. One of those aspects is zoning and urban design. Some of us are part of that. We hear out proposals like yours and listen to them and find out how valid they are, how, if they meet the certain kind of ethic that we, as neighbors, wish to live in here in our community. We would like to have heard it from the outset. When I see the phrase 3 living units, to me that sounds kind of dense. It almost sounds like you're trying to shoehorn something into a small lot, you see. Especially now there may just be 2 buildings there, but even that sounds fairly dense for something that may have been just a single family residence earlier. That's why I wish your
Came to you first.
your owner would have come to us and talked to us so we could have looked at it, studied it, offered our yes or no to it, and maybe even help him overcome any objections we might have had to it.
Got it.
But since we didn't get that far, since we were not apprised of it, please understand, I'm kind of leery of it, and that's why I would not be supporting this.
Okay.
I think we've had the 5 minutes and we need to do the rebuttal now.
Could you we'll get to some more questions.
Oh,
Usually what we do is we'll do, like, he had his 5
Yeah.
minutes to present, then we'll do a 5-minute, rebuttal to it, and question and answer after that.
So she's going to talk a little bit, and then we're going to do some more Q&A.
So how do we make sure this is projected on the side?
Well, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Spielman, how you doing?
oh, perfect. It just needed you to come over here. And I was like, no.
That's how IT support works.
It's always the technology.
Christina. Put your laptop up on that rail,
Always the technology.
I mean, I have it on the file as, it's definitely something.
Something was there.
Okay, I'll just hold this. Okay, so this is,
Can I help it? Can I hold it?
no, I'm good, Rose, thank you. So, the subject property, has been a duplex for a long time, and it was sold earlier, as Jose mentioned. They pulled a permit to do the work in July, to do a full remodel. It mentions in the permit that they're gonna do some, removing walls and adding a bathroom. It doesn't specifically mention, making a 3rd unit, but I know that CPS, when they would have ordered the meter, would have said that they are not properly zoned to have a separate meter, and that would have led them to go to development services and ask for the zoning. So those of you who have been through this before know about our Midtown plan. I've also been putting articles in the newsletter for some time now to try to acquaint people with the plan. It's a land use plan that the neighborhood, in conjunction with the city, developed in 2000. And it identifies the preferred land development pattern for our neighborhood. It also includes Alta Vista and St. Anne's. And City Council adopted the Midtown Plan, which makes it law. And the planning department is to consult the land use plan as a guide for developing staff recommendations on individual zoning cases. This is the land use map that's in the plan. The yellow indicates low density residential, the pink is medium density, and the red is commercial. So most of the residential areas are low density. In the Midtown Plan, low density is described, low density residential is described as uses include single family houses on individual lots. It also can include a limited number of duplexes and granny flats or garage apartments. For example, a single family house with a garage apartment is allowed. A duplex is also allowed. However, a duplex and a granny flat, meaning 3 units, on one lot is not considered to be a low-density residential use. So the proposed request is not consistent with our neighborhood plan. Now, the city is in the process of developing new land use plans as part of the SA Tomorrow comprehensive planning process. That will happen for our neighborhood in about 2 years. At that time, the community will have an opportunity to look at the neighborhood again 20 years later and decide, do we want to add density? Do we want to do something differently? And once the community has made that decision, then we will have a new guiding document. But at this time, this is our guiding document. Between Mark and me, we block walked all of the people that are within the 200-foot notification zone. 3 of the places, including the subject property, were vacant. 1 is for sale and was vacant, and the other is a rental and was vacant. Every other household was contacted and invited to attend tonight, or to submit their zoning request to the city. So, oh gosh, it's really all it took. So that's the end of the presentation. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Did you see the last one?
Okay. This just says that we walked all the 200, except for the ones that were vacant. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, sir.
So I have one of the affidavits from one of the homes that you walk about.
Yes.
Where do we see that you
Well, we actually have the zoning commissioner here. Summer, are you allowed to take those if folks have brought the response form in with them? Or do you want me to take them?
You could take those tomorrow.
Okay, so if you will provide that to me, then I will submit it when we go tomorrow to speak of it.
And I've submitted 2 this morning.
Oh, okay. So that's what we've been doing, and I have another one that somebody gave me.
Seems
So
like a pretty straightforward situation. It doesn't fit our plan. That's all.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, that's how we would look at it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I guess the comment I'd make the case that, we have been, sometimes when we don't like some things and they fit the plan for that, like the corridor is much more denser. And we've okayed projects because that's part of that plan. And we're always told, well, we want you to have the density in the corridors and we'll protect the inner neighborhoods. And there's ways of building density in more appropriate ways in the neighborhoods. So I feel like anything that is not in our neighborhood plan, we have given up. We've given density on the corridors. It's not like we haven't done that, and we're looking at other ways of making our neighborhoods dense, but not by duplexes on
Okay. At this point, we probably, are there any other questions that people have?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment for clarification. I'm Sidel Brooks. I'm Councilman Trevino's Director of Development. I've been working with Cosima and Mr. Spillman on this case. First thing I wanted to say was that at this time, the 3 units actually does not require a plan amendment. It is considered low density, but I see the concern with it being a triplex.
Not in our plan, it's not considered low density. It may be in the city's definition for other areas, but our plan, as I showed on the slide, clearly says single or duplex.
Well, I just want to make it clear that there's no plan commitment required, so they're telling the developer that this fits, the city is at least, and then, I mean, that's really the main thing at this time. Just, you know, the developer is being told by the city that it does fit. So, you know, the concerns that the neighborhood has are valid, but, you know, when people are trying to go in and do everything according to the book, the city's telling them this is according to the book, per se.
So this isn't part of the, our land use plan is part of the book.
Yes, so in the land use plan that I have, there's no plan amendment required, so it does fit the current plan.
And our neighborhood plans are supposed to stand until we do the sub-area plans. And our plan doesn't say that.
No, okay, that's why I brought it.
Do the neighborhood plans supersede the regular city plan?
So the plan, the land use plan for our neighborhood plan has its definitions. And this is the definition for low density, which allows
And
for
that was
single and
adopted by
duplex.
city council.
Yeah, so I don't doubt that the city has its own definition, but within our neighborhood plan, that is the definition.
Yeah, so this is just a 2000.
Yes, that's.
But it's supposed to stand until the sub-area plan.
Well, I mean, so this isn't necessarily your land use plan, this is a land use clarification. So this is saying what low density is per se in 2000.
Right.
I don't know if the definition for that has been changed, but there's no plan amendment with this project. I just want to make sure that that was.
And if I may add one thing as well, I'm trying to do it the right way. If I go about it, I mean, as a lender, investor, active investor, I see properties where people, investors, they just go in and do whatever they want without pulling permits, without doing anything, and they get away with it, right? I'm trying to do it the exact right way. I mean, obviously I have to come to you guys first, so I'm trying to do it the right way. I'm not trying to make a size 8 foot fit in a size 6 shoe. You know, I'm not trying to do that. That's not what I'm trying to do. It's a 2,400 square foot house with, I mean, it's just a big property. I mean, it fits, to me it does. I could fit 3 units in there. So I'm not trying to, again, anybody could just go in there and build whatever they want. I mean, I see that every day in this area, right? But they may not be doing it the right way or the correct way. I'm trying to do it permits, the right way, ask you guys. I'm trying to do my best to do it the right way. Now, just like how she said, and that's your book, I get it. I'll try to do the best I can. When she said make an alley, I'll do whatever I gotta do to do it the right way, if I have to. That's all I wanted to say.
And then, I'm sorry.
Well, I was just wondering how many square feet, you said it's
24.
but like adding this, what?
It's
how
not
big is
adding.
that third, no, I'm not adding, but like dividing, how much?
So 988 on one unit, 968 the back unit, and the upstairs is staying the same at 1,400 or 1,200. So it's not adding square footage.
That's like 3,000. That adds up to 3,000.
Well, whatever it's on the paper there, but it fits. It's a big unit. It's not like a small unit that I'm trying to cram everything. If you walk the property, once it's finished, it fits kitchens, it fits water, it fits everything. HVAC, it's a big unit. I mean, the property will have 3 HVACs, 3 brand new plumbing, brand new electrical. It fits washer and dryer in there. I mean, it's not like it doesn't fit. It's fit everything.
So then you divide it part as like 1 bedroom?
Yeah, so the first floor, which original was a 1 bedroom, sorry, 2.5 bedroom with 2 baths, is now, it's gonna have its own kitchen, its own washer and dryer, small living room, its own refrigerator. I mean, it fits everything. It's not like it's crammed up and you can't walk in.
I live in a 740 square foot duplex, so I mean, it is like absolutely possible to have like a bedroom and kitchen and living room and.
I mean, if I have to come back and show you guys once it's done, I mean, we're keeping the originality of the property. I mean, it fits a washer and dryer to every property. It does.
After I take
Try to remember your name again?
Jose Romero.
Mr. Romero. You mentioned that you want to try and do things right. Okay, I'll grant you that. Here's my suggestion. Why don't you postpone this proposal tonight? Yes, postpone it. In the meantime, come to the committee that the neighborhood association has developed to look at this, and so that we can look, we who are familiar with these kinds of things, can look at it, see if it's a good idea or a bad idea. If it's a bad idea, how it can be improved to meet neighborhood standards. And that way, you will have gone through the process, as you say, you want to do things right, so that there's no misunderstanding among those who say yes or say no to it.
So that's a really good idea. I really do think that's, how long is this, do you want this to be
Well,
postponed?
we meet very next week, a week from now, right, Mark?
The only problem is that we still have to take a vote.
Well,
You know, it would be-
Postponing, well, again, I'm not the owner, I'm here on behalf of the owner, but I'm also his lender, right? So his loan is a very expensive loan. We offer a purchase and rehab, so he's like, they've already extended us to November 1st for the zoning, right? Sorry for the, sit down knows, but the other meeting, so postponing wouldn't be the best option for the current owner. I can meet with you tomorrow, I can meet with you 3 days from now, I can do anything, but we can't.
Please understand, it just seems kind of rushed.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, our voice is like, I mean, it's like the representative from Rural Tribune, it sounds like the city is trumping our voice. I mean, it's like the city says one thing, and we're saying another thing, but the city is saying something else.
And see, now I'm gonna bind as well, because when I pulled permits, I went step by step, and I'm sorry, it said, it's recommended for you to go talk to Beacon Hill, right, to the association, and that's what I'm doing. The date was given for today. It was not given to me for 2 weeks ago, a month ago, it was not. So the meeting was for today. Mr. Hublin, he emailed me and said, hey, I recommend you as well to come out here and put your offer. And so that's what I'm doing, so I'm not trying in any way rush at all.
No, you're not. I mean, this business, but this gentleman here has.
Wait, hold on. That's not what's happened in this case. He, you know, when he pulled permits, he was told that he needed to see zoning and he needed to go, to Beacon Hill. We just found out about this a couple of days ago. That's not what's happened. No offense, but, let's be accurate. We got, just a couple of days of real notice on this, and the only reason that anybody knew about this ahead of time was because we saw the sign in the yard. That's how we found out about it.
Yeah, I mean, the first contact I had was on September 19th. But the timing has been such that we didn't have time to have them come to the ZUD. That's why they're here tonight. But if they're willing to postpone and come to ZUD in addition, that's their choice.
Can I ask a quick question? Sidel, when is he talking about city council for November the 1st?
Yeah, but if it were to get postponed at zoning commission, it would get postponed at council.
But sometimes it doesn't though. Can we check into that?
Oh, I'm sorry, one more time, was your question, repeat that?
If he's saying that a city council, and I think it would be on the October 31st, could we potentially postpone until the 29th and have it go to city council that same week?
Potentially, yes.
Can we check on that?
So yes, so if it's a continuance, yes, it can
Not a
continue and then go
postpone,
on to council.
continue.
I'm sorry?
Not a postpone, it's for a continuance, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
That's
not postpone,
Yes,
because
I'm sorry.
postponing is a different word, but yes. I don't want to postpone, that's one thing.
So may I make a suggestion, we vote tonight, and then whatever changes, but at least we have something on record on how we feel, with the presentation, because this is pretty genuine. We've done all the presentations, whatever comes next, at least we have tonight's vote.
Just a quick question, Mr. Romero. I mean, it's fair to say that as a lender and also as the interest of the owner, that whatever the square footage is for the bottom floor is more profitable for the owner divided into 2 individual units than it is remaining as 1 unit. Isn't that fair?
If the plan was to do a fix, turn it into a single unit, and fix it and flip it, that would have sold as a single family. It would have sold for closer to 400,000, that would have been a different conversation we would be having right now. But the owner is wanting to own the property, not fix and flip. He's wanting to keep it as his own rental. Now,
Are we talking about value or revenue?
well,
I'm
he's
talking
pretty,
about-
he's.
I'm talking about revenue, meaning it's more profitable for the owner to put in a second kitchen and build a wall and say that it's for poor old mother-in-law who's gonna come live with us, but that isn't guaranteed that it's gonna be for poor old
It's not
mother-in-law
guaranteed, yeah,
forever.
exactly.
So if the market value as it exists right now is $1,000 a month, let's say, for the bottom floor as it exists right now, what is the market rent going to be when you put up a wall and an extra kitchen and bathroom and call it 2 units? Are each unit going to be rented out for $500, or I suspect they'll both be rented out for
Well,
a bit more?
Compared to properties that are not rehabbed, not having been
Well,
taken care of?
compared to
Well,
properties.
compared because this house is gonna be fully rehabbed from the interior. New flooring, sanded floors, new trim, new sheetrock. That has nothing to do with the property next door that's renting for $500 a month.
But my question
But
is,
it's not gonna change your rental or whoever's renting next door.
You don't know what the owner intends in the end. You're the instructor of.
No, I do, but I've known him for many years. He's wanting to rent them each for about $800.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee of that, and he may sell it. He may decide, he may change his mind. Whatever you do is permanent to the land and the property regardless of the owner. And if that owner decides that they would prefer something else and we approve theirs, there's nothing to stop him from going on and doing that multi-apartment rental.
and I guess to that end, the maximum occupancy under our existing ordinances for 1 unit for the exact same footage would increase if you were to actually subdivide it into 2 units. Is that fair?
Can you ask me that again?
In other words, so I can't move, if I have an apartment that's a 2-bedroom apartment, I can't move 16 people into there. I have no handle in it. But if I put up a wall and I call this apartment A and apartment B, then these are individual units, and my maximum occupancy as individual units is greater than if it was one larger unit. And I think that's the concern, is that no matter how benevolent it may seem, that tonight there is a family member of this new tenant coming in, that tomorrow and maybe next year that's the situation. But when you fast forward to 2025, when the market has busted and rebuilt, and now we're in another urbanization, that we're now being able to put a lot more people in there. And I represent real estate investors all the time, and they are beholden not to the character of the neighborhood. They are always beholden, and I represent them, to the almighty dollar. So I think that's the concern, is that while the situation today is let's move this family in with essentially a mother-in-law suite in the back, today, that tomorrow that will be 2 individual units that can be fully occupied, which is going to be more cars, more people, more traffic, all of those types of things. And I think that's...
But that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
It may be
It
everywhere,
could be on the south side,
but I'm
north
sensing
side.
in the room that that's not what
But
the
that's
residents
everywhere.
want.
What
But
you're
then-
saying
but
is
then just be
everywhere.
honest and say that's everywhere, regardless of what you want. We're gonna do it this way.
No,
Okay.
because you're saying in a perfect world, all that's gonna happen. Yes, that could happen. There could be 20 people living in 1 bedroom. There could be 30 people living in the other one. I get what you're saying, but as a lender and a friend, he's refurbishing the property to where he's not gonna just let anybody move in, right? The house is not gonna be just, here, let me just patch it up and let anybody move in there. No, the house is fully renovated.
Well, Mr.
I think what Rose was trying to say, and what you're trying to say is, we're making a decision based not on who the current owner is, but the land use going forward. Agreed?
And one of the problems with that, of course, is if you have something dense on one lot, then often that's used as an excuse to keep creating. We've seen that a lot at zoning, that, it's already there. So.
And that would be one of my personal concerns, when I showed the map where we have several, 2 vacant, 1 for sale, that this could set a precedent. And clearly, new owners, if they're coming in and buying a duplex and they think they can make it a triplex, that's clearly, you know, a good deal. I'm a landlord, I rent units. Renting more is, you make more money than renting less. So I think that for me is also a concern that it would, especially as he said, with as much activity as we're having in these neighborhoods right now, it could certainly create, where on that street, all of a sudden you'd have considerably more density.
Any final questions or comments?
And I believe Mr. Romero used that argument while he made his presentation, that there were already large duplex, triplex, sixplexes in the area. So yes, I agree with you.
So I'll make a motion. I make a motion that we do not support the requested zoning based on our current land use plan.
Seconded.
I see a show of hands on.
Not supported.
Not support.
Do not support.
All opposed to that motion? Okay, that motion passes to not support the request for zoning.
And that means, sorry, I don't know, then we write Cosima takes a letter to that effect to this meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, the board will do a letter stating that they don't require.
I'd like
They
to
don't
stress,
support, I'm sorry.
this is nothing personal.
Right.
I don't own the property, comes to that.
Yeah, no, and we've been burned many times because people say they intend to do one thing, they sell it, they die, they whatever, you know, and so we have to.
I'll tell you something, it's not gonna stop, you know, people
Yeah.
are gonna keep referring.
We know
to it,
that,
you know.
we live here.
So,
Well, hopefully it will be, and I realize the city led you to believe, and Seidel is supporting that this is the correct density for our plan, but I would beg to differ. And so now that you're aware of these things, hopefully as you look for properties, you can take that into account when you're looking for investments.
And admittedly, Mr. Rivera, our decision tonight is just merely one factor, one
Right.
little description, one little statement that goes into the full report that the city councilman, Mr. Trevino, weighs when he makes his decision, and the other city council members probably follow his example, make a decision on that. So I just want to alert you to that.
no,
Only one
I
factor.
mean, I can't stop the renovation, you know, I can definitely hear you guys out, but I have to finish the property too. Yeah, it is gonna look nicer than most of the houses around there, you know? Shouldn't give it a bad.
Everybody's
All right, moving on. For elected representatives.
Hi, everybody. Sidel once again from Councilman Trevino's office. I'll start off on some lighter news. So we have a Halloween event. I know y'all are having a movie night as well. I think it's the same week. It's October 23rd. I'll send this to you so you have copies. October 23rd, we're going to be showing Monsters, Inc. for the kids. We want them to wear their costumes out, trick-or-treaters. We're getting a bunch of candy. I think we're spending like $300 on candy or something crazy. Tons of candy for kids, and we'd love to have you out. Bring your blankets, chairs, and everything. This is going to be the 23rd in Crockett Park. The address is 1300 North Main on that. Okay. So I'll send that as well to Cynthia so she can send that out to you. Couple of things. I'm sorry. A couple of things. So I heard concerns in the zoning debrief right now about how you can send in your response to the letters that you get from development services. So you can also, if it's more convenient, you're able to take a picture of that. If you send a picture to the case manager, which will be noted on the application, you can send it to Cosima, or you can send it to myself or Mr. Spielman as well. If that's more convenient for you, just mark how you feel. Make sure your name and address is on there. You can send that picture to any of us, and we'll ensure that your opinion is considered in the notices there. We talked a little bit about what continuance would look like. At this point, it does sound like the neighborhood is leaning towards denial. But Summer, the woman who left, is your zoning commissioner for District 1. So she was here to hear everything about the case, and she will go ahead and make a ruling based on that. And typically, I mean, we typically don't go against the neighborhood and the zoning commissioner. So if that's how the neighborhood feels, then that's how the neighborhood feels. Last thing, I'm concerned a little bit about, understanding of like what a plan amendment is and what different zoning things are. It's a lot to take in, and it took me a lot of time as the zoning advisor to learn these things as well. So Development Services does offer small workshops where they can come out and teach. If you would like, maybe that's something we could set up for ZUD. But if there's interest in doing that and you want to learn more about what this means and how it all works, we can get that set up if that's something the neighborhood's interested in. Questions for me?
Yes, I've worked for a municipality before, and their development services, when you pulled a permit, you were required to post it, so that people would know when you were working on something whether or not you had followed the rules. Why do they not do that here in San Antonio?
So the permits are posted online. So when they apply for those permits,
I don't walk around with my computer looking up people's addresses, to see whether or not they pulled a permit. It actually be posted viewable from the street.
Okay, I don't think that's the case. As far as I know, it's just posted online.
Is there any idea that any hope that might happen in the future?
We could push that in the future. That's something we could ask for in the future.
Yeah, it would be good.
And there's also, I just actually learned tonight, you can also sign up for notifications on permits in your area, so you can be notified. Maybe that's something we'd be interested in for zoning, or when the permits
Wrote the program for it, Beacon Hill.
Okay.
Was the one that went down with the guys in charge and showed them what our program was, and that's the one they adopted for the city.
Okay, for sure. So I'm sorry about that. As she said, that's something we could do, but right now it's just available online. So if you see them doing work, you're like, what's that? You can go to, is it Build SA where you can check for us?
Yeah.
You would go to Build SA. You can just Google that and you can see what that permit is. So is it instruction of an additional unit? Is it, water work, or I'm sorry, utilities work, that type of thing. Other questions?
If I could just quickly, I'm sorry, but piggyback on that, you can also call Development Services at 207-1111 and ask them if there are permits on an address. And that can be quicker. Sometimes if you don't have the exact wording, it doesn't bring it up. So, or if you look and it's not there, then you call Development Services, you ask them to look, and if they say they don't have any permits, then you ask to have someone go inspect that there's work being done at the property, and it kind of gives you both solutions in one call.
And the easiest thing too is to go on the Beacon Hill website. If you go to ZUD, it'll pull up only the ones that are specific to Beacon Hill. All the permits, all the zoning things. You look on NCD5 and it will screen out all the other data and just give you Beacon Hill.
Yes. So I've been living, breathing zoning. I hate to take over your meeting with zoning.
No.
But sorry. Yes.
Mr. Senator, this week, the city council is going to make a very major decision on its climate action plan. And we haven't been told any specifics as to how much it costs the average resident on his utility bill. Could you please tell us tonight how much it will increase the average electric bill for us?
Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have information on that right now, but I can work on that with the councilman and staff, and I can get that sent out to your presidents before zoning. Before council on Thursday. Okay. So I'll make a note of that. I'll send that out and ask that you be included on that.
Thank you.
No problem. Other questions? Okay. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Hi everyone, my name is Noah Haridia. I'm a policy intern with State Representative David Cornell. If you guys would like, you guys can come visit our district office. It's at 6531 San Pedro Avenue, Village Plaza. You can also call us by phone. We're open from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And our phone number is 210-308-9700. Again, that's the number for the district office. You guys can come to us, talk to us about anything. We can help you guys. But if you guys would like to schedule an appointment with the Capitol, you have to schedule it by phone, and the phone number to do that is 512-463-0532. And again, that's to make an appointment in the Capitol. Now, Representative Bernal is honored to serve as the Vice Chairman of the House Committee on Public Education and a member of the House Committee on Local and Consent Calendars and the House Committee on Transportation. We just recently had HB3, which is the major school finance plan. Bernal has been going around to all the neighborhood associations and talking to them about that. Did you guys get visited back at all? Yes, okay, good. So you guys know about HB3?
Yes.
I believe he also talked to you guys about the other, what was it, 5 bills that he filed? 4 bills that he filed? Okay, yeah, so you guys know about that. October marks the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So this past session, we filed HB 170, which was a mammogram bill. It was to get insurance to cover screenings for mammograms, and also we also have a constituent e-blast. So if you guys would like, you guys can sign up for that. That's the best way for you guys to receive information from us. So come talk to me afterwards. I do have a sign sheet over there, so if you guys want, you can sign up and you guys could receive e-blast from us, and it talks about information about what's going on right now and information about the city. And that should be, yeah, that should be it. Oh, also one last thing, I'm also here for Art Tomorrow. Art Tomorrow is a nonprofit. It's by youth for youth. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the youth engaged in government, and we're trying to help them create policies for local and state government, and also for organizations inside the city too. So, for example, ISD schools. If you guys are interested, you guys can sign up for kids. It's the age from 14 to 19. It's a really good program. I'm in it, and we also have a physical mapping workshop on the 23rd, I think. Yeah, October the 23rd. You can RSVP on Eventbrite, and we do have other events, other workshops for kids to learn about government and stuff like that. So I suggest going to partnership.org and go to Art Tomorrow, and you guys can find a lot of information about us. Thanks.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Wonderful to see you again. Really quickly, last month, I announced that the senator was having a town hall with the sheriff, chief of police, the district attorney's office, the adult protective services on preventing fraud amongst the elderly. That went well. We had, if you didn't get to catch it and you are on Facebook, if you go to Senator Melendez's Facebook page, we Facebook Lived it, so it's there. Nowcast has recorded it, and they're cleaning it up so that it can be broadcast and you can see the cleaned up version. We had a very good response from it, so the senator wants to repeat the session early next year. So anticipate that happening probably early spring, and we'll invite you again. Hopefully you can come out. A lot of questions. We're seeing a lot of elder abuse, elder fraud in the community. We have people asking questions as caregivers. So we will put that out again. Also wanted to mention, give you an update on the interim charges. I had announced, anybody who wanted to suggest ideas for the legislature to study, the different committees to study certain ideas, certain issues. We received numerous responses, so we submitted to the Lieutenant Governor a couple of weeks ago 20 pages of suggestions for interim charges, single-spaced. So we included many of the ideas we received from our neighborhood associations and others. So thank you for whoever sent in those suggestions. Also, Noah brought
I forgot to mention these.
constitutional amendment sheets.
I'll pass this out real quick.
And so as he's doing that, just want to let you know that on November the 5th,
will have an election. This is just a description of them. There will be 10 of them, 10 proposed constitutional amendments. So during the legislature, several bills passed to suggest changes to the Texas Constitution. The one Noah is passing up is more descriptive, and I can send Mr. Hubling a link to an objective analysis of the different amendments. This is very important. Two of these, somebody mentioned climate action. Two of these refer to flood infrastructure. The state of Texas is because of climate change, experiencing much more flooding, not just in our urban corridor here in San Antonio, but we saw Hurricane Harvey. Other rural communities are experiencing a tremendous amount of flooding because of climate change. So there are two proposed constitutional amendments that would allow for more funding for a statewide flood mitigation plan. So this is the first time the state of Texas is doing this because it has become such a huge problem. We have areas not just in Houston, but much along the coastal bend that are still recovering from Hurricane Harvey. So this is important, so please, we'll send you the link so that you can study up on that. And then on the much lighter side, Senator Menendez will have his annual holiday party Saturday, December the 7th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at St. Luke's Catholic Church, the Parish Hall, 4603, it's a French word, Manitou Road. It's right off Callahan and 410. If you have any questions, our number is 210-733-6604. You're always welcome to visit us Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30 p.m. or Saturdays, 11 to 2.
Okay, we're there. Any last comments, questions, concerns?
No nationals.
All right, we're adjourned.
Woo!
Could I
My
ask
last
that
meeting.
all of the new board members hang out for just a minute afterwards? Just a couple minutes.